trust is a decision. It's not always like a feeling.
Yeah.
So for me, for a very long time, I kind of associated it just like, man, like whenever I fully trust God, like I'm just going to feel it all the time. It's going to be great. Like I'll know everything. That's just like not how it works. And then I was kind of challenged and then just recognized like, man, like thank God that he does not operate on how I feel day in and day out. Like he's a little bit more consistent and constant than just like, oh, Darryl's feeling it today, so now we can really work.
Hear him out. I barely know him.
Hello, and welcome to the Hear Him Out podcast, a conversation between my friends and I about how God speaks to us and asks us to hear him out. Today I have Darryl on, and Ivan's back as well, because it's been about 10 minutes since the last time we recorded. We had a little snack break, little Starburst break, little goldfish break.
Goldfish?
Little talk break. Yeah, I know, you really should have.
Do a wardrobe change.
Yeah. Well, you did switch seats, so it's
we did switch seats.
Yeah. We didn't acknowledge in the first one how you and me are twinning. Yeah. We realized that me and Ivan are twinning. We're just that in sync. You can go change if you need to know.
He's not impressed.
Yeah, he wanted to go change, but I told him not to. I wanted to twin with him. I actually knew what you were wearing. Darryl texted me so that I could wear this.
It's pretty easy. Green shirt, black shorts.
Yeah. I said, got it. I can do that.
Easy.
Maybe 80% of the time. So.
Yeah. I also wear green a lot, so.
I'm not a green guy. Big blue guy.
Really? Yeah, you wear blue a lot. Yeah, I could see that. A lot of blue polos.
Blue polos are sick.
Yeah. Anyway, this is Darryl.
What's up?
Blue guy.
Blue guy. Yeah, that's me.
Not affiliated with the Blue Man Group.
No.
Completely different.
Yeah, completely different.
Yeah.
Unaffiliated.
So Darryl, we want to talk about how we met and became friends and all that and our history of friendship.
Oh, yeah.
Platonically.
Of course.
If you missed last week, this is one of my extremely platonic friends.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay. So do you want to talk about how we met?
Yeah, for sure. I really don't remember how we met. It was just kind of.
I didn't remember last time, and we were talking about it, and you were like, "Izzy, we met this day."
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I do remember.
I
do remember. Sorry.
So that's why I was going to let you take the wheel there.
Yeah, because I was like, you've kind of just been just around.
Thank you. I am one of those people that's just around.
Yeah, Izzy's just always around in my life. But no, so I met Izzy last summer. Joe, who's in our community group, he texted me one day and he was like, hey, you should come with me to this birthday party at our friend's house. I think it was at like Gus's house.
Was that Gus's old house? Yeah.
Yeah, it was at his old house.
Like Gus, Bryce, and Noah. Yeah. I think it was Noah's birthday party, was it not?
I think it was.
Okay.
And I was like, sure, dude.
Was it not 4th of July?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It may have been in July, but I don't think it was the actual 4th.
Okay.
Yeah, and so he was like, come to this birthday party, and I was like, man, that's cool. I don't know. I'm not gonna know anyone.
You're not gonna know the birthday boy.
It's like I don't know whose birthday it is. I've never really met any of these people, but like sure.
But you're a massive extrovert.
I am.
So were you like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, sure, but I don't want it to seem weird that you're inviting this rando to your
really weird that
to your birthday party. Or it's just like, that's cool, but like, I don't know this guy. He doesn't know me.
I wonder why he invited you.
He was just being a good friend.
Okay.
I think I didn't have anything to do that evening. He was like, dude, just come to this birthday party.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So like, it wasn't weird in that sense, but I was like, cool. I guess I'm going to a birthday party. Happy birthday, Noah, I guess.
Yeah. If it was even his birthday.
If it was, who knows? Yeah. But I ended up going with Joe, and then that's where I met you the first time. Because I remember you had like lost your phone for an hour. It was like
that's the memory you have.
Like tearing up the house. It was like, where's my phone?
I remember that. I think it was just in the couch cushion the whole time.
I think it was. Yeah.
But I literally was like tearing up the couch, or it was like under the couch or something, or it was like deep in there.
Yeah.
And I was like, just searching the whole house.
Yeah, because I knew at that point in time, I knew Joe, and I knew Mallory Aiken.
Oh yeah.
Because I went to Tech with Mallory, and her little brother was in my fraternity.
Okay, cool.
So I knew her, and then we got chatting, and then that's how we met the first time. And then since then, you've just kind of been like around, I guess.
I remember there was like 1 or 2 times where we both be at working from Watermark. Like you were working from Watermark at least one other time, and I think you, me, and Joe sat at like a table, and I think I actually like barely remembered you, but I was just like, oh yeah, I think I kind of vaguely remember you, but you were just sitting with Joe, so it was kind of like, okay, I guess like nobody else is here that I know, so I guess I'll just sit with them.
Yeah.
And then we like worked from Watermark together that day. I think
we did.
Kind of maybe August, maybe, or something like that.
Something like that.
Maybe like a month or 2 after.
Because
you
were applying to like other jobs. You were trying to apply to this like bank job. So things have happened.
That was
since
October.
then.
That was probably October.
Okay, then
September, October is when I started applying for jobs.
Yeah, because you were telling me about this like job at the bank that like your friend worked at.
Oh yeah. So then that was October.
Yeah.
So I think we really didn't see each other at all from like basically July to like October.
Yeah, it'd have been a minute for sure.
Or like we've been around each other but like not talked at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then after that we really didn't see each other again much at all until probably like January.
Yeah.
Because that's when like started hanging out with Ivan more. I think like I saw you at the In-N-Out like when we were there for Joe.
Yeah.
But it was like very brief, like I was in and out. Podcast can end there, guys.
That's a good one. Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't like we didn't really like hang that much. We weren't like close. And then I guess like just January. Well, we can get into it more. But you lost your job.
Yeah, sure did.
When did you lose your job?
Like February.
Okay.
Like the beginning of February.
I think that's when we started getting closer.
Yeah.
Because I think that's like when Ivan kind of started coming to Watermark more.
Yeah, because like school was like fully back in session, so you would just come and like study, and then your work schedule chilled out.
Yeah. And then you didn't have a job, so then you were just coming to hang. So that's when the
keep rubbing it in
started.
For sure.
Yep. Hey, you got offered a job?
I did. I got offered a job today. That I'll probably be accepting. So praise the Lord.
Yeah. And I wanted to have you on too. Like one of the reasons I texted you guys first as my first like guest back, because my like the first episode that dropped today is when you're listening to this, it dropped a while ago, but was about me talking about like being unemployed and me talking about like leaving my job and just like how to leave jobs with dignity and stuff and everything, which my friend Jalen was like, you should talk about unemployment and like what that looks like as a believer and like what it looks like in the unemployment. And like, cause he's like, I hear so many people talk about it like after they already found a job of like what they did, but it's like, I want to hear a perspective of like what it's like actually being unemployed and like hearing somebody's perspective like in it. And so I was like, well, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of have a lot of friends right now that are unemployed. And so I was like, well, I have a lot of friends that I could interview about that and kind of like a little mini series almost. But yeah, or just like invite those friends on more specifically like before they get jobs just to like talk about it, which I guess it's too late because you had a job today.
It's too late.
But you did say the other day we were talking about it and you were like, oh yeah, I might get a job soon. So I was like, well, I got to get you on the pod then when we have time. Because
I was like,
I have time, you have time.
It's like I'm never going to see you again.
Exactly.
No more Watermark.
Yeah, because you were like, I'll be in office all the day. And I was like, crap, then we got to get us podcast.
Yeah, it's going to be a bummer.
So yeah, but we'll still see each other.
Yeah, for sure. Platonically. Very platonically. Yeah.
Extremely platonically. But yeah. And so I wanted to like talk to you more about that. I obviously ask you the question I ask everybody, but also like if you're going to talk about something separate with that, like you can, but then also like at some point I'd also like to talk about just like your journey through unemployment and like how the Lord's spoken to you through that and all that. So
yeah, 100%.
Any fun stories before I jump into the question? Any fun stories you want to share with the class?
Man, where to start?
Yeah, I know. They're just so funny.
No, it's been just a lot of fun, a lot of sweet memories. Just like, being unemployed together.
For like a week.
Yeah, for like a week at the same time.
Yeah.
But just like us three hanging out, like we've done, came and watched Liberty here for March Madness. I was
Rest in
It's
peace.
a tough watch.
Yeah.
It's a tough watch.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch her.
It was.
Yeah.
They were just.
It was
they
really
literally.
fun.
I think they invited me over to watch it just to. Actually, no, I did invite myself in that way too.
Just in your reaction.
Yeah, but it was just to see my reaction because the whole time I was like, "Are you kidding me? What?" Like I was like, so.
It was so funny because she
Yeah.
was like, "We might actually win," and I was like, "You're not. Oregon's really good." She was like, "Well, so are we."
I didn't know anything about Liberty basketball this year. I'll be so honest. I Googled some things of like, what are the chances of Liberty winning? And actually, there were some articles that were like, maybe they could.
I mean, it's March Madness. You know,
Yeah,
anything
exactly.
could happen.
That's what you were kind of on my side with that at one point.
It would have been fun to watch.
Yeah,
but
but
about 5 minutes
yeah.
in, we kind of realized just like this game's over.
It was a horrible game.
Yeah.
Very horrible. I left during halftime. I was like, there's no way they're coming back. I was like, I don't even want to.
Yeah, because the game started at like 9:30.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I
so
was
you were
so tired.
big tired.
And
You
I
had to
was
like
like-
be up early for something.
Kids ministry in the morning, I think. Maybe.
Was it Saturday or Friday night?
I was.
No, it was for y'all went out all day for like Molly's birthday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
what
so
it
y'all
was.
went to Cowtown.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what it was. Yep,
Love
yep.
Cowtown.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. So, yeah, it was tragic. But it was fun.
It was a good time.
It was a good time.
It was a good time for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, watching sports with the bros.
Yeah. I was like, I participated in some walks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we've gone on some walks.
Yeah.
Yeah, just around Watermark.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun memories for sure.
Yeah. Okay, I can jump into the question. Thank you for sharing. I can jump into the question.
Yeah, what question?
What is the time in your life that you feel like the Lord has asked you to hear him out about something?
Yeah, I mean, like I feel like it's all the time, right?
As it should be.
As it should be for sure. I think for me, a big one, a little while ago, and then it can get into some more recent stuff. But yeah, I think for me, a big hear me out was going to Regen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Is this your first time going through Regen?
Mhm.
And then what step are you on?
4.
Okay.
We're about to.
Ooh, inventory.
Yeah, inventory. We're almost done
Crazy.
too.
Dang.
This next week will be our last week.
Good. How are you feeling with it?
Pretty good.
You haven't apologized to me yet, so I don't know. Oh, wait. Amends
like
comes later.
Yeah, 100%.
Forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Harm is by me, hurting Izzy.
You're like, yeah,
Just
oops.
kidding. Just all Izzy. Just
Yeah,
kidding.
like, Izzy's ruined my life.
No. Harm's to me. That's harm's to me. Harm's by me. You've hurt me.
Haven't.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Anyway.
I'd never do that.
No, I think
Yeah.
she's more harm to you than her.
Yeah.
I've never hurt anyone
I've done
in
way
my
more harm.
entire life.
That's so true. You're perfect. I forgot. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No.
Anyway.
But yeah, no, on inventory, wrapping that up. But yeah, it's been a really sweet time that I didn't think that I would ever need to go and do.
So talk me through that of why did you feel like it was the Lord being like, hear me out, do this? What was going on that you were like, okay.
Yeah, I think for me, more context, more backstory. So I was, I was born and raised in a Christian home, but I for sure was.
Mhm.
That was awesome. It was great. My dad was an elder at our church. I went to First Baptist Church in Lubbock, Texas, my home church. Shout out, guns up, baby, come
Guns
on,
up.
wreck 'em. But yeah, so did that. My mom played piano in the worship services and was super involved. They were both at one point in time, small group leaders and high school and middle school ministry. My uncle's a worship leader and a pastor
So
in
very
San Antonio.
involved.
Yeah. So it's I was at church twice on Sundays, every Wednesday, all that good stuff. So for me, it kind of developed not I'm better than other people complex or anything like that, but it was more so just man, I know a lot more about, God and the Bible and stuff like that than most other people I knew, especially going to school. So that kind of just built a complacency, and just not growing in that way.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, I guess even more specifically, that kind of like led me up to Regen. As I was just kind of, again, had hit some highs and lows. Like throughout high school, was pretty complacent. Kind of broke out of that complacency in college. I was in Bucks, the fraternity. It's a Christian fraternity. So that was super good for me. And then, yeah, moving out here to Dallas and getting more and more involved in Watermark, I just kind of noticed like the complacency start to build up with like sin struggles and stuff like that. And then eventually, it just kind of led me to strongly considering Regen, and then also to knowing that like everyone in my community group at that point in time, we were 6 people, except for me and one of my best friends, Preston. Like everyone in our community group had done and went through Regen.
Pause.
Sweet.
So sorry for that. Somebody called me and I felt the need to answer it. And no, far from it. Anyway.
So inconsiderate.
Yeah, my bad. So I'm sorry. It was, yeah. But my phone was also dying, so we had to charge it. And then it gave Darryl time to think, and he thought of a funny story. So
yeah,
it all worked out.
We're not sponsored.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
We're not sponsored.
I'll have to blur it out. Yeah. Anyway, we were talking about Regen. We were talking about how everybody in your CCG had gone through it except you and this other guy, Preston.
Yeah.
That's where we were.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, so they had kind of opened my mind to the idea. I definitely wasn't closed off to it. But in my mind, I'm like, man, like Regen is for people whose like lives are falling apart. And I'm like, I'm not there. I was like, realistically, like things are going like fairly well at that time. I was just like, I just, couldn't get over a couple like sin struggles. And so I was like,
you're like, my life's not falling apart.
Exactly. I was like, man, like I'm not
a drug dealer. I'm not,
Yeah. And so, so that's kind of in my mind. That's why I was like, Regen's not an option for like me, because that's for like people who like seriously need help. And
you're perfect. So therefore,
for sure.
Yeah. No, that's how I felt going into Regen too. Like I was like, I don't need Regen. Like I thought the exact same thing, where it's like, oh, it's for people that like have like porn addictions, have, alcoholics, or addicted to whatever. And I was just like, yeah, it's not me. So like, therefore I'm good. And then I like went there the first time and I was like, I'll try it out, whatever. And then I was like, oh, pride. Got it. And then like when I went through, it was just like more and more, Lord revealed more and more of like, you're not perfect, honey. Here's all the other things you can be going through recovery for. And it's like, oh, control? I never thought about that, Anyway.
Yeah. So that was kind of, that was kind of what got me to start going, is I was like, I'll try it out. Like I'll go to one of the first Monday nights, whatever. And then I was like reading like their list of stuff that like like you can be in recovery for, stuff that they've seen, stuff that they dealt with. And I was like, oh, I struggle with a lot of this stuff. It's not like, yes, there are like the extremes that they're like absolutely equipped to handle, but there's also like, like control, fear and anxiety, performance-based faith, pornography, masturbate, all of that stuff, where I was like,
you're like, check.
Yeah,
check,
I was like, that's
check.
like,
yeah,
that's bad. But I was like, that's not like so bad that I need to go to like Regen.
Yeah. It's not like you're like getting drunk every single night, whatever, yada yada. That it's like, no. It's not. It's because I think it feels like Alcoholics Anonymous, a little bit, and you're like, okay, well, I don't need that. And it's like, it just, or like if you're like substance abuse in some other way,
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
It's like, okay, well, I'm chilling with that, but it's like, no, it's literally just for anything. And like you said, like they do have the more extremes where they do have people there that are alcoholics or deal with substance abuse or like literally so many extremes. But it's like, there's also the ones that are a little bit more chill.
Yeah, because again,
not
like,
chill, but like,
Yeah, for me, but I was like, dude, I've been a Christian basically my whole life. Like I know, like, it's like I know all this stuff. Not like they're not going to tell me anything that I don't already know, but I was like, man, I know what I need to do. I just can't, like, it's hard to get over that hump. so that was kind of my mentality going into it, and just kind of hearing the Lord being like, maybe region is an option, or maybe this is something that I should seek out.
Do you feel like the Lord used the people in your CG a lot to speak through to that because they had all been going through it? Like Joe's a region leader, you'd gone through it, and then Noah was going through it again. Yeah. And so do you think that had a lot to do with it too?
I think so. I think it just gave me an avenue of just like, okay, like, what's it like? Because I remember I had talked to Noah a lot specifically on just like, because we have a very similar backstory. Like, he was also raised in a very Christian home, whereas like Ivan and Joe's backstories are a little different. And so I was like, Noah can relate to a lot of the way that I was raised. And he was like, yeah, like it's definitely for like everything. It's not just for like extreme cases. And stuff like that. So that kind of like opened my mind to the idea of just like, like maybe I should check it out. And then it just got to a point for me where I was like, man, I'm just tired of carrying around this weight and dealing with this like, baggage and not feeling like I'm never going to make progress towards like my sin struggles or like overcome any of those. And I was like, man, like I'm 27 now, but I was like, dude, I'm 25, 26 at this point in time. 26.
I was gonna say, wasn't that?
No, it was because I was doing groundwork for a while before I got into a step group. So it would have been 26, but I had started the
When's your birthday?
December 31st, New Year's Eve.
Yeah, I knew that.
Let's go. I had started thinking and having those conversations like in like March, April time. And then finally like schedule a line to where I could go on Mondays. Like that summer, like June, July timeframe. So we've been doing it for a minute. But I definitely think that Lord used the CG as well. Just to encourage and be like, yeah, man, it's not like anything that you're thinking. Like, yes, like it's absolutely for people like that. But it's also for like, there's a lot of people that go that, they grew up in the Christian home and, they've got a really good foundation, but also like want to continue to grow like their personal relationship with the Lord. And that was like the aspect that I wasn't seeing of it initially.
Yeah. I think that there's a lot of people that I've met that I'm like, the biggest struggles I see in them are like pride or control. And like in some form of that in some way, because like those are kind of the roots of like most sins, honestly, and like most of the struggles listed, like they're mostly rooted in pride and control. And so like I think, which pride or control you could say is rooted in pride too, but I think, or like fear or something too, like there's a lot there, like there's a few different ones where I'm like, I know a lot of people where I'm like, they need to go to region for like this or this, but it's like they wouldn't ever, I think, get to that point themselves or like get to that idea themselves because they're like, oh, same thing that we've thought is like, oh, we don't need to go because we're not like addicted to alcohol in it, or we're not like, we're fine, we're not rock bottom. But it's like there are some people that I'm like, you are doing so much harm to a lot of people because of this lack of awareness. And I think that is what the biggest thing that Regen helped me with, and like the Lord used Regen to help me with, was awareness. Of like, that was my, like, I wasn't aware of my pride and control until I started going through Regen. And then it was like this like veil off my eyes of like, oh shoot. And like a lot of other things too then, where again, it's like those things were kind of rooted in that, but it's like, there's so many different things that like I'm so much more aware of now that I'm like, man, there's a lot of people that I feel like just need that awareness, and that like Regen helps with that so much. Yeah, for sure. Because you can't overcome sin struggles you're not aware of, kind of thing. Yeah, definitely.
And that was my thing too with it, was never, at least in my mind, it was never like I would never go because I don't need it. It was more so just like I just didn't understand fully what it actually is and what the purpose of Regen is for. And then once I understood that, I was like, oh, I get it. I was like, this isn't for people who are just at rock bottom. I was like, because that's not, at that point in time, I was like, I'm not at rock bottom.
Yeah. I think it really helps you grow closer to the Lord, and like just really helps you grow closer to people, and like just be so much healthier, period. Like in everything. And just and it just changes your faith, in my opinion, like in different ways, because it's just like, you're so much more aware of your sin then, that like your faith, like, and your belief in the gospel and like the Lord and just like how he's saved you from your sins is like, feels so much weightier.
Yeah.
You know, where it's, I don't know.
Yeah. And that was like step one for me, is getting into regen. And then step two, or not even like step two, but just like the second big, like hear me out, was just like, hey man, let's have a little bit of trust, buddy. Like that, I kind of realized that once I got to step three. I was like, man, like I absolutely believe in the cross and Jesus and God and the Holy Spirit and all that stuff. But it's like, I couldn't say the same with that much weight for like, yeah, but do you trust him? Mm-hmm. And whenever I really thought about it, I was like, well, no, I don't.
Yeah.
And I was like, I absolutely believe it. And I do believe that I'm saved and that he died for this, like my sins, but like, I don't trust him. Just, and that revealed, at least for me, of just like it's because you want to be in control. And you're trying like desperately to control every aspect like of your life, instead of just trusting that like the Lord has you.
Yep.
And so that was once I got to regen, that was the first hear me out. And then for me, kind of that second hear me out was whenever I was working through step 3 in trust. I was like, oh yeah, I don't trust him that much. Not like I should. So yeah, so that was a big realization for me.
So, and this can kind of go into everything that's happened in the past couple months, where I feel like the Lord, that's ironic that you were just in step 3.
Yeah.
Because a lot has happened in your life where the Lord's like, yeah, you're going to have to trust me now.
Yeah.
You know, like, and so I love how God did that, you know, because it's like, you're learning, you're on that step learning, okay, I don't trust you, Lord. And the Lord was like, okay, I'm going to make you trust me. Like, or I'm going to give you opportunities to trust me. And because basically I don't know when you started the step, but like the past couple months, I mean, we've mentioned earlier, like you lost your job, and then like just some car problems and stuff, and just like, I don't know, just a lot going on. And then I don't know if you want to talk to about just like your struggle with like the anxiety and everything too. And like, it just all kind of came crashing down at once, kind of.
Yeah, no, it was not a very fun 3 months or so for me, like at all. Like it was pretty miserable. December, like started having some car troubles that like put me out of a ton of money that I wasn't prepared to like spend.
But you have a Tesla now.
I do have a Tesla now. Yeah. There's another fun story of riding in the Tesla. It was a good time.
Okay.
It was when we went to go get Mike's chicken. We took my car because you wanted to go ride in it.
Yeah. Was there another funny story attached to that?
No, that was just a fun story.
Oh, a fun story. Oh, okay. I didn't know if the story that you thought of later.
No, that one's coming.
Oh, okay.
That one's really funny.
Okay.
That was just another fun memory of that. Now that you mentioned it. Yeah. So that happened, and then just kind of out of the blue, really just got hit with like major like anxiety and panic attacks, like a ton. And that's like something that I've never struggled with at all. Like, sure, I was like, yeah, I've been anxious about things before, but never to the point where it's like I'm having panic attacks. Like I can't leave my apartment. Like I can't go see anybody. Like I can't, there for about 2 months. I was like, I didn't see any of my friends.
Which is huge because you're an extrovert.
Yeah. And so like, that's how like I relax and recuperate. And, you know, that really just like fills me up with like energy of spending really, you know, just like quality time, whatever, with just like good friends that I enjoy being around. So that was really hard for me, and it caused me to like isolate. I went to the ER twice during that time because I thought I was going to die.
Wow.
Yeah, the anxiety is insane. Yeah, like panic attacks were crazy. I didn't know what was going on. Like I thought I was going to have a heart attack. And then I got to the ER the first time, and they were like, yeah, dude, you're good. You just need to chill out. And I was like,
You're
man,
like, how do I do that?
yeah, I was like, I'm trying.
Yeah.
I was like,
and you're a chill dude too. So it's
Yeah.
like to tell you to like just chill out, you're probably like, I'm
Yeah.
already chill. Like,
yeah, I was like, dude, like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm trying to chill out, but I literally can't. And they were like, yeah, you're having a panic attack. And you're just making things worse.
Yeah.
Just because it keeps spiraling. And then went back again. And then, yeah, like same thing. They were just like, yeah, man, like you're good. For the most part, they were like, your heart's fine. Like your blood work and your labs are good. Like they're physically, they were like, there's nothing wrong with you.
Dang.
And then that's when they recommended me. They were like, dude, you have like a therapist or like a psychiatrist? And I've been in therapy for like 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
At this point.
Hold on, Bethany?
Oh yeah. Shout out Bethany.
Shout out Bethany.
She's a beast.
Yeah.
She's the best.
I remember one time we were talking about how ChatGPT is my therapist, and then you said something like, well, I have Bethany. And then I think whoever else was in the conversation was like, is that what you named ChatGPT?
Oh no,
like,
it was Frank.
Was it? Oh yeah. But it was like no. Like that's my actual therapist.
Yeah, no, she's a real person. She's fantastic. Yeah, so I was like, man, I've been in therapy for like 2 years, but I've never dealt with like this before. And then they mentioned, hey, maybe it's time to get on like antidepressants, stuff like that, which is a very new realm for me. And then got home from the ER that second time, Thursday. Friday rolls around. I'm hopping on to work for a meeting at like 11, and I get told that I no longer have a job. And I was like, oh. Like,
were you expecting that?
No.
Okay, so like really came out of nowhere.
I mean, there had been like for me, like there's always like worst case scenario, like thoughts are just like, yeah, it's been a hard month or two of recruiting, but like that's just the way that the market is. But like there was like,
there's any way they're gonna fire me.
Yeah, like I got a raise the month before.
I mean, I got a raise a week before I got fired.
Yeah, so I was like, yeah, by all means, I was like, I thought I was doing pretty good.
Yeah.
And and then lost my job literally like the not even 24 hours after I left the ER for the second time. And then after that I took like a much needed vacation back home to San Antonio for a week.
I remember that, yeah.
Just to like reset mentally with like my family and stuff like that, and then kind of figure out like a plan of just like, well, shoot, like you're dealing with anxiety and panic attacks, and now you don't have a job.
Were you like, I'm immediately going to start looking for jobs, or were you like, let me go take a chill pill?
No, I was like immediately,
let me go spend time with family, not think about it.
No, yeah, the spending time with family was brought up to me by my uncle. He was just like, dude, like, why don't you just come over here for like a week?
But were you looking for jobs when you were there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like an immediate be like, oh shoot, like I need a job now.
Yeah.
And so started applying, went to San Antonio, hung out with the family, and it was a very good week with like very like manageable anxiety. And the second I got back to Dallas, it starts again. And then a couple weeks later, got an appointment with a psychiatrist, and then have been on antidepressants for like a month and a half now. And that's worked wonders.
Great.
It's been awesome.
Yeah. So okay. There's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
There's a lot that happened.
Yeah.
So
this is in the span of like 2 months.
No, literally. That's in the span of me knowing you.
Yeah.
Like literally, maybe I'm a curse. Like maybe maybe meeting me.
That's what I mean.
No, I'm just kidding. No, we've been friends for a long time. But like
Harms. Shoot, I thought my water was down there. Oh well.
Yeah. Oh wait, no, it's not. Oh,
no, it's over there.
After I met her.
Yeah.
Actually,
around that same time.
You're joking. Really? That's your whole CG?
No. Just me and Ivan.
Okay. So the people, dang, that's crazy. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry that I've done that to you. But yeah, like what, wow. How do you feel like you've grown in trusting the Lord in that?
This has been a journey. for sure.
Or not trusting the Lord. You can share that too. If you
No,
think that
yeah. I
that's
mean, like,
bad.
and there are definitely like, it's been moments of a lot of trust and moments of like, yeah, I don't have any trust at all.
Mhm.
But through that time, just being able to like pray and like go to the Lord, whatever it is, and just be like, yeah, dude, this sucks.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why, like I'm dealing with this now. Like I thought we were cool.
Yeah.
Type of thing. And just realizing that like, man, like very thankful that, you know, like we have a God that can handle me being upset.
Mm-hmm.
About whatever it is. And there were definitely times where it's like, all right, man, like I don't have any other choice but to trust you. Like, you know, every like waking moment, I'm afraid I'm going to have a panic attack.
Yeah.
And so like, I have to trust you that like, whether I do or whether I don't, like, I'm going to be okay. And that's like incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
Especially like for me, I'm just trying to like white knuckle it and be like, okay, like I've got to get a handle on this, stuff like that. So it's been hard. And then like trusting that like the medicine I'm on is going to work,
Mm-hmm.
and that it's going to be helpful and like beneficial is another big step. I'd started to go down the spiral of just like, yeah, I'm going to Google like everything that's wrong with me, or like,
Oh, so I'm dying. Got it.
yeah, for sure. So like that wasn't helpful like at all, and that just like reinforces anxiety. And so like, yeah, like a practical step for me was just like, okay, like I'm not going to Google anything.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
I'm not going to self-diagnose myself.
That's good. It's so easy to self-diagnose.
Yeah, or it's like I'm going to trust that like doctors know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And that like if there was something wrong with me, they would know about it by now. Stuff like that, just to reinforce and challenge those like anxious thoughts and beliefs like at that time. But then also too, like trusting that like, just like God's gonna take care of the situation and guide like the doctors and the medicine and all that good stuff. So it's been a lot of big leaps for sure, and it's definitely like it is not by any means perfect. But it's definitely gotten me to a place of just like, yeah, man, like you don't have any other choice but to trust God.
Mm-hmm.
Just because he's the one that's like guiding all of this.
Yeah. That's so good. Okay, Ivan, I'm going to ask you what I asked Darryl during her episode. What do you feel like? You're going to have to give him the mic.
Oh boy. Yeah, here's the mic.
Yeah.
He's back.
What, like, especially, I know you've known him for like 2 years, but let's say really during this time, like during the past couple months, like, how have you seen him grow? Like, what have you seen from Darryl in the past couple months?
Seen him grow at least 2 inches. No.
Rise up.
What kind of meds you on? Hand them to me.
No, I honestly, as he's talking about trusting the Lord and his struggle with that, I think walking with him in that journey, just being part of the CG, I have seen a tremendous growth in that. For one, like also his faith in the Lord, but also learning to trust in him and give his trust to him and whatever other struggles he has, especially during the times, especially during like the medical issues and the anxiety with that. Like, I see it throughout the day, but also like every time we meet for CG and his discussions about it, the growth in that and how he's going into it more, leaning into it more, realizing it in moments and being like, okay, I can either Google things and self-diagnose and not listen to what people are telling me, or I could just trust the Lord that what people are saying are true, what the doctors are saying are true, that this is going to come out all right. And that has been tremendous to see.
That's so good. Thank you. That's it. Okay. We should probably wrap up slightly soon, but I want you to tell your funny story, but also talk briefly just about unemployment. You've been unemployed for what, 2 months?
Yeah, it's been like 2 months.
So talk about that. Talk about like what, like for me, I shared in my episode, that came out today was like, I really feel like the Lord was just like, hey, I want you to rest. Like, I don't want you to like go, try to find all this work, you know, like I felt like I saw him providing in different ways where he's like I'm not just being lazy about it and sitting around doing nothing, but I'm also like, it looks like, you know, I have jobs lined up for, you know, the month of May and for the summer once I come back from Ethiopia. So it's like, and different things here and there that I'm kind of doing and putting myself out there and babysitting here and there. But I'm like, I'm not on Indeed looking for jobs 24/7 because for me, that's really not restful. And I feel like the Lord is like, hey, you have a job already lined up for May. Like, take the next couple weeks and chill, like, and rest because I've had a very long year. And it's like my body has to adjust to not being stressed 24/7. And so it's like, but I was like, that's me in this season right now. And there's been other seasons before where it's like, okay, I got fired or I quit, like go, time to find another job. You know, like I'm on Indeed, I'm searching, I'm putting myself out there everywhere. And it's like, what has the Lord kind of spoken to you in this time with that? And like, what has unemployment looked like for you?
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of it for me, because I've always been like an on to the next thing kind of person of just like, okay, this happened, but like I've got to find a new job. Like, you know, stuff's gonna pile up, like whatever. Probably just because, you know, that's like it's how I was raised. And then it's gonna even be like a bonus episode of like Darryl's backstory, but it's like, man, like by the time I got to college, like my parents passed away. Like I didn't have family living in Lubbock. And so it was like, I have to have a job. I have to graduate college. I have to like do all this because there's no other option for me. It's like, I don't, you know, I can't go
live with your parents.
Yeah. I can't go live in my parents' house. I can't like, you know, I mean, we weren't poor by any means, but I was like, there's not, you know, $1 million trust fund waiting for me. And so it's like, there was nothing to like fall back on. You got
the Tesla? No,
yeah, no. Yeah, and so I've always
be a hard worker.
Yeah, so I've always had to like go. Even it's like no matter what happens, like unfortunate circumstances, like hey, that sucks, but like we got to keep it moving and like move on. So I think for me, just like understanding now like where I am with like anxiety and stuff like that, there is no way I would have been able to like handle having a job in those 2 months and trying to deal with like that anxiety.
Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah, like it was like there's no way I could have like gone to work or like deal with any of that stuff. And so I definitely think that in that sense, like it was a gift of not having a job to really be able to focus on you know, trusting the Lord and getting anxiety to like a manageable point.
And resting in a way. Like, yes, you're still looking for jobs and you're still interviewing a lot and stuff, but like you're still resting.
Yeah, for sure. And so doing that, like that was definitely nice to see like on the back end. But unemployment, it's looked like a lot of sitting at Watermark, applying to jobs, taking interviews whenever I can. And then at the end of the day, just asking like the Lord, like, hey, would you just, you know, would you open the doors that you want me to go down and like shut the doors that, you know, you don't want me to go down. And it's hard. And then there was a time where like I had a job that I really, really wanted. And it didn't work out. And I was super upset. And just kind of being like, you know, why couldn't that have been the one? Like it was going to be great, like whatever. But then like, you know, bringing that discontentment and anger and bitterness or whatever it was, the wrestle to the Lord and just being like, dude, like what the heck, man? Like that job seemed perfect. That was what I wanted. I'm not super passionate about any of this other stuff that I'm like interviewing for.
Cause what was that job? Remind me. Or like, what would you have been doing?
Yeah, it was like client service and sales. Okay. So I basically started in like a client service role and then worked my way up to like being like an account manager for a bunch of different like really cool companies.
Gotcha. So different than recruitment.
Yeah, different than recruitment, for sure. But yeah, like I thought that was the one. I felt really good about all the interview staffs, and at the end of the day, like it wasn't. And that was like hard to sit in and be like, you've got to be kidding me. Like,
and just asking the Lord why.
Yeah.
Like that was, I think I sent you, or I told you to listen to the Watermark sermon a couple weeks ago because you were out of town. But then you were like, I already live streamed it. Like I heard it. I think it was like a week ago. And
yeah, I was headed to Austin, and I was already listening to it during like the normal time.
And something like the reason I told you to listen to it because like something it was talking about like wrestling with doubt and like just wrestling with the Lord and like what that looks like. And something that really stuck out to me during that sermon was just how we're supposed to have a childlike faith, and like children ask a billion questions a day.
Yeah.
And like their favorite question is why? Why? Well, why not? Why? You know, and it's like, I mean, as a nanny, I'm nanny before. It's like, yeah, kids ask a billion questions, and it's like they want to know why for everything. They want to know the reason behind everything because they're constantly learning. They're constantly learning new information, and they just want to know. And sometimes we can explain why, sometimes we can't, you know. But it's like we need to do the same thing with the Lord. And like adults, honestly, a lot of the time stop asking questions, and they're just like, I don't need to know. Like I think I have been in this place with the Lord recently where I'm like, I've gone to this point where I'm like, I don't need to ask questions. Like, Lord, I trust you, whatever. I don't need to ask any questions. But it's kind of like an apathy almost of just like, I don't care. You're going to do what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not happy about it, or I have questions and I'm wondering why, but why even bother asking you? Because you're not probably going to tell me anyway, you know, whatever. And it's like, but that's not childlike faith. Like that's like God wants us to bring our questions to him, and like he wants us to wrestle with him. And like something that also stuck out was just him, the pastor was sharing how the people of Israel, who are God's chosen people, Israel literally means to wrestle with God. And it's like his chosen people are the people that wrestle with God. And it's like we need to wrestle with God, and like we need to not just like be stuck in this apathy or think that like our doubts scare him or our doubts are sinful. It's like they can become sinful. Like when we like what we do with our doubt can become sinful, but like it can also become really honoring and glorifying the Lord and worshiping him by wrestling with him, you know? And so I don't know. I sent that to you just because I was like, okay, like per the season you were in, I was like, I feel like this is something you need to hear. But then you're like, I already heard it and it's great. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was definitely something that I needed to hear. So I often like associate doubt with like being super negative, which it definitely like doesn't have to be. And I'm very glad and very thankful that like even in like seasons of doubt, like it's never led me away from the Lord. Like I know it can and has for like other people. But also just finding ways to like wrestle with God in like a healthy way. It's been like super cool to learn about. Yeah, final thoughts for me is just been like understanding that trust is a decision. It's not always like a feeling.
yeah.
So for me, for a very long time, I kind of associated it just like, man, like whenever I fully trust God, like I'm just going to feel it all the time. It's going to be great. Like I'll know everything. That's just like not how it works. And then I was kind of challenged and then just recognized like, man, like thank God that he does not operate on how I feel day in and day out. Like he's a little bit more consistent and constant than just like, oh, Darryl's feeling it today, so now we can really work. And you can see that especially in like the Old Testament with Israel, when half the time they're just complaining about stuff. But it's like God's still working. And then just like, man, just being thankful that like we have a God that's faithful to us even when we are not faithful to him. And I kind of recognize that too in myself. Just like, yeah, like I had heard it rephrased for me of just like anxiety and fear is just a lot of like sinful, like unbelief that like, yeah, it's like, we're talking about the God of the universe who's, you know, brought you through like losing your parents and, like, dude, like I was closer to death when I got stabbed. And then whenever,
I forgot about
anxiety and like panic attacks have like struck, and just yeah, just thinking like, man, like he's carried you through like all of that, and we're still like not gonna trust him
Right.
with any of it. So just kind of like looking back on all of those circumstances and seeing now how it's just like worked out. And then thinking to myself, just like, okay, like we've gone through like all of that, like, man, like like we can trust him, just like in my own life, just like looking back.
It's so good.
And then, just like repeating the phrase to myself, just like, if not, he's still good.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, just talking about being in the fire. And they're just like, yeah, man, like we're not going to bow to you. And we know that like God's going to save us, but even if he doesn't, like he's still good.
Yeah. Or Daniel the Lion's Den, like all these different things.
Yeah.
It's so good.
And that's like a crazy concept for me. It's just like, like even if he doesn't, like, is he still good in my mind? If he,
even if he doesn't save you, or even if he does allow this, or whatever, like, is he still good?
Yeah. And I will say, with all of the anxiety and panic attacks and all of that, losing my job and circumstance too, like I definitely recognize that like I've never been or had to rely on the Lord more than in those moments of just like in my bedroom being like, dude, I don't know if I'm gonna make it out of this anxiety. Like this sucks. Or like I'm tired of feeling this way. Or like, like, can we just be done with this already? And having to rely on him that way of just like, man, like get to a point where just like you gave me a good hour. Like, you gotta thank God for that. Sometimes you have to split the days up like that of just like, I had a good hour. I had a good 2 hours or 3 hours. And that's like praiseworthy.
Yeah.
And so, just having to rely on the Lord in that way of just like, man, you physically, like, you have to carry me through this. Cause I'm like, I can't control the way that my body feels right now, but like, I am really not enjoying this.
Yeah.
So those are kind of my final thoughts on the topic.
Thank you for sharing all that. That's good.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, funny story.
Yeah.
I think I actually might know what it is. I thought of it while we were talking. I was like, I might know what the funny story
What
is.
is it?
You say it.
No, you say it.
Is it the one where you texted me out of the blue?
Yeah.
It's that one?
And I don't know. I don't know the context from like the other side. I just I showed up for a CG. We were at Chili's. And
here's the context, I think, from before you get to
this.
We were all at Watermark. It was like me, Kaylee, Joe. Were you there? Yeah, Ivan, Noah, I think. I think it was the 5 of us. Oh, no, I wasn't there yet?
It was the Chili's thing? Yeah.
Oh, then no, it wasn't there. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, so me, Kaylee, you, Joe, and I don't remember how we got on the topic, but somebody was talking about how you were black. And I was like, no, he's not. Like, there's no way he's black. And like, Ivan and Joe were like, no, he's black. And I'm like, he's not black. Like, I don't know if you've seen what the man looks like, but he is not black. And I'm like, there's no way, And then
they on the other end, when we were at Chili's, they just kind of told me, they were like, Izzy has no idea like what race you are. And so I just texted her out of the blue. I said, Izzy, I'm black.
And that was before I had your number.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind. And so I think you actually called me first, but then I didn't know what the number was, so I declined it.
No, I think we called after.
No, I think you called before and I didn't know the number, so I declined it. And then you texted me. And then we called after. Too.
Yeah, because it was because Joe was like, let's just call her real quick. I was like, okay.
But I didn't know the number. And so because we didn't, that is like how little we were friends at that point, because I didn't even have your phone number. And so you texted, and
we've been like, at that point, we've been hanging out at Watermark for a little bit.
Yeah, like a week or two, honestly.
But it's like, but I didn't have your number.
Right. So like we were friends, but we weren't like, we didn't have each other's numbers and stuff. And so it was the craziest thing, just out of the blue, getting a text from an unknown number. I'm black. And I knew it was you, like based on the conversation I had with you and Joe earlier. I was like, okay, so this is Darryl, And I think I saw the Lubbock, and I was like, I wonder if that's Darryl. Like, I think on my phone it said like Lubbock, Texas, like the phone number.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I wonder if that's Darryl. But then I was like, I was in like mid conversation or something, so I didn't answer. And then he just texted, "I'm black." Mm-hmm. And then we called afterwards, and I was like, oh, okay. And then you started sending me memes, and I was like, this is great. I'm glad he has my number now.
She has enjoyed the memes folder.
Yeah,
the best in the game.
He really does.
Oh yeah.
But that was a funny. That's funny that I thought of it too. Like right at the end, I was like, I bet it's the black thing.
Yeah, the black thing. Yeah, it sure was.
That was a good story. Yeah, that's a fun,
all right,
fun
and then
time.
Stay tuned next time. I'll tell all of you guys who Izzy likes.
I'll kill you.
Yeah. Like, comment, subscribe. If we get 1,000 likes on this video, I'll tell everyone who it is.
Yeah.
We'll be interviewing Izzy.
Yeah, if I get 5 screenshots, I was like, I'll reveal.
Yeah. Yeah, if we get 1,000 listens on this, you can tell the world who I like.
Let's go.
1,000. There's no way, and it can't be you on repeat watching this.
Hey, I've got a big network.
It's fair. I guess that's true.
Trust God, it's gonna happen.
Oh boy, yeah.
I'll post it on my story on Instagram for all my followers.
Go watch this.
Please watch this. Yeah. Anyway, okay.
Anyway, we did it.
We did it. Any final thoughts?
Final thoughts is just happy to be here and super thankful for your friendship. It's been a blast.
Aw, right back at you, brother.
Yeah.
Platonically.
Of course.